All right, Shalom. Before I get started with this lesson, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachakodash. I want to give double honors to my elder apostles, to my elder bishops, to my elder teachers of Great Millstone that rule well, which taught me this truth, who are the true leaders of Israel today. And also peace, love, blessings, and salutations unto the elect. All right, shalom to you few sisters, you Akwaf, that listen and follow this truth in sincerity. Shalom to you sisters, to you Akwaf. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners. Shalom to the elect. All right, shalom. And just back with a quick lesson. And pretty much this is one of those lessons where you just hit the button and record. I don't plan on it being too long, but I was reading Zechariah chapter 9, and ultimately I want to bring this out in Zechariah chapter 9. I'm gonna read from 11 on down, and then just go through the spirit. Now, in the subheading, you see it says deliverance of Judah and Ephraim. So that's speaking about all 12 tribes, man, right? But it starts with the elect, the 144,000, and the large multitude that the Lord has set up for salvation, and ultimately this is the time period that we're in. Okay, we're in that time period to where that great and final transition of power is getting ready to take place. Currently, we're in Esau, Edom's kingdom, right? The so-called white man, the so-called white woman. Okay, the Edomites. They are ultimately, this is currently their rulership, man. Right now, when I say that, mainly I'm speaking about the elites, the so-called elite, banking families. These elite bankers. Ultimately, they're the ones that are benefiting from the blessing that was given unto Esau. When you read Genesis, the 27th chapter, and it goes into the blessing that Isaac gives unto Esau, going into the fatness of the earth and the dew of heaven. It's ultimately talking about having dominion over the entire planet Earth. And that's what Esau, that's a part of his blessing. So you see how this devil can, make laws and kind of police the earth. Speaking about America, Babylon the Great, that great city. But ultimately, everybody on this planet Earth has to, pay taxes, which that's going into the elites, so on and so forth, man. Which I'm not going to get too deep into that aspect of it. But ultimately, this devil is in power, and he even speaking about these elites, they have everybody in captivity underneath them, including their own people. And now you're seeing people starting to wake up, because this is that transition of power that's about to take place, that power shift. Even his own people are, and that's mainly who I'm speaking about, his own people are rising up against him, because now they're feeling the sting and the pressure. They're being oppressed. At one point in time, these Edomites, they was living, pretty good, but now, they're pretty much getting treated like niggas. So ultimately, and that goes into biblical prophecy, as far as the Lord having this place divided. Let me grab that real quick. Give me 1 second. Salakia. Bear with me. All right, Matthew chapter 12. And let's start at verse 25. And it reads, And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. So if you look at America, if you look at Babylon, this place is completely divided, mainly through politics, but also you have this nation that's divided. People just divided amongst themselves. Whether it's a major division is between the men and the women, which is another symbolization that this kingdom is about to fall. Especially with all of these podcasts and different things, it's just more. It's dividing. It's pretty much dividing everyone even more. So this is the end of Esau Edom's kingdom, man. So it says, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. So America, Babylon is about to be brought to desolation. And the ultimate waster to bring the land of America to desolation is going to be those ICBM nuclear warheads that's going to be shot off during World War III. So these are the times that we're in, man. And the Lord is doing this for Israel, beginning with the elect, for his people. And every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. Look at MAGA. The whole MAGA, movement is pretty much dead. The Lord got the Egyptians against the Egyptians, the modern day Egyptians. Modern day spiritual Egypt is America. It tells you that in Revelation, the 11th chapter. And ultimately the modern day Egyptians would be these Americans. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. And when I say these Americans, ultimately talking about these Edomites, because when we were in captivity in Egypt under Pharaoh, ultimately the modern day Pharaoh would be Esau. Okay, so during that time, the Egyptians, when we were in Egyptian captivity, during that time with the Egyptians, with Pharaoh ruling, he was an Egyptian, ultimately Hamites. Okay, but they were known as the Egyptians. So the modern day Egyptians would be ultimately these Edomites, but you can say these Americans as well. So if Satan cast out Satan, Satan meaning adversary. Okay. So ultimately this is talking about Esau. Esau is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? So his kingdom's not going to be able to stand. Going back to Zechariah, the 9th chapter. Salakia. Let's go back to Zechariah chapter 9 and verse 11. As for thee also by the blood of thy covenant, I have sent forth thy prisoners out of the pit wherein is no water. Turn you to the stronghold, ye prisoners of hope. And that's speaking about us, the true believers of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. We have hope of what? Salvation and deliverance. We have hope and faith that that the Heavenly Father is going to send back his only begotten Son, our Lord Yahushai, with the thousands and with the millions and millions of angels. I forget. I think it said the thousands and thousands of angels, but ultimately, millions, man, or however many the Lord has set. I don't know the actual number, of course, but we have faith that Yahushua is going to return. The Lord of hosts going to return with a host of angels, including, Michael the archangel. When you read about it in Daniel's, the 12th chapter, which, hey, let's read it. Let's read it real quick. Daniel 12 And one now it says, and at that time, it's speaking about what? The time of Jacob's trouble. When you read Jeremiah 30:7, it goes into Jacob's trouble, the time that we're in. And right now we're in the beginning stages of Jacob's trouble. So this is the time that it's speaking about. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince. So this is Michael, the archangel, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, the children of Israel, speaking about the elect of the children of Israel, because the 2/3, they're not going to be protected on this side. They're not going to be delivered. That's why we hope and pray that we're of the elect. And there shall be a time of trouble, right? Jacob's trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. So there's going to be a time like no other, man, as far as just the brutality and seeing ultimately the earth, seeing the wrath of the Lord that has never been seen before. That's ultimately what's coming. Such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, the elect, 144,000, and the Lord's multitude, everyone that should be found written in the book of life. Okay, so I just brought that out because even this is what we believe. Even Michael, the archangel, is going to return with Yahushua. So Yahushua and the host of angels, including Michael, the archangel, I just proved that. They're coming. So we have faith that they're coming to deliver us, protect us, and ultimately get beamed up on the chariot, on the so-called UFO, which, you know, it's ironic that Esau is all of a sudden talking about UFOs and declassifying information. You know, they're trying to control the narrative. They're trying to stage a fake alien invasion, man, using their Project Bluebeam and so on and so forth, man. You know, this devil, he's a great deceiver, man. Okay. So this is our belief, man, that the Lord is going to deliver us. As for thee also, by the blood of thy covenant, I have sent forth thy prisoners out of the pit wherein is no water, to turn you to the stronghold, you prisoners of hope. And ultimately, the Lord brought us back into our remembrance by giving us this wisdom, knowledge, understanding, putting that breath back into us, so that we can go out to the highways and byways and prophesy and bring forth prophecy, which ultimately is the Lord speaking through us. The Lord is the one that's bringing forth prophecy. And, that's the whole reason why the Lord gave us this truth. So it can lead to us being delivered, man, and for this prophecy being fulfilled. Turn you to the stronghold, you prisoners of hope. Even today do I declare that I will render double unto thee. And the Lord is going to get vengeance on our enemies, and he's going to use us, right? And it's going to go into that. When I have bitten Judah for me, fill the bow with Ephraim. Right. Ultimately, we are the Lord's weapons of war. He's going to turn us into his weapons of war. OK. I believe it's in Isaiah where it says he's going to turn us into a new sharp threshing instrument. Is it? Yep. Isaiah 41. And let's start at 14. Let's start at 13. For I, the Lord Yahweh, thy power, will hold thy right hand, saying unto thee, fear not, I will help thee. This is our faith, man. This is our belief. That's why we ain't worried about shit, man. You know what I mean when I say we ain't worried about it. We're not worried about what this devil is planning on doing, coming against us. We know that the Lord, ultimately, we're going to win in the end. Okay, we're going to win. Verse 14, fear not, thou worm Jacob, and ye men of Israel, I will help thee, saith the Lord Yahweh thy power, Salakia, the Lord Yahweh thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. Behold, I will make thee a new sharp threshing instrument having teeth. Thou shalt thresh the mountains. Another term for mountains in the scriptures can be governments, right? So this current government, this current rulership, Edom's rulership. And why you think Esau got all this technology and creating super soldiers and so on and so forth? This devil knows what he's about to be up against, but the Lord going to continue to put that spirit on him to harden his heart for prophecy's sake, man. Because the Lord wanted the devil to be at the height of his pride when he gives him that ultimate blow, and they go into captivity under us, and beat them small, and shall make the hills as chaff. All right, let's go back. Zechariah 9:13 once again. When I have bent Judah for me, filled the bow with Ephraim, right? Those are instruments of war, weapons, a bow and arrow, okay? And raised up thy sons, O Zion, against thy sons, O Greece, the Edomites, Jacob versus Esau, right? That ultimate final battle. And the heathen, they're going to get, wiped. They're going to get wiped down as well, man. Right? We're going to put them in captivity as well. All these other non-Israelite nations. It says, O Greece, and made thee as the sword of a mighty man. So we are the Lord's weapons of war. And the Lord Yahweh shall be seen over them, and his arrow shall go forth as the lightning, and the Lord power shall blow the trumpet, and shall go with the whirlwinds of the south. The Lord Yahweh of hosts shall defend them, and they shall devour and subdue with sling stones, and they shall drink and make a noise as through wine, and they shall be filled like bowls, and as the corners of the altar. And the Lord Yahweh their power shall save them in that day as the flock of his people. Right? And the Lord's people are the Israelites, so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, so-called Native Americans, so-called Hispanics, right? And the Israelite foreigners as well. The Lord has a chosen people, for they shall be as the stones of a crown, lifted up as an ensign upon this land, right? Those precious stones, man. The Lord, calls us those precious stones. You see? For how great is his goodness, and how great is his beauty. Corn shall make the young men cheerful, and new wine the maize. So we got what? Ultimately, that eternal rest is coming, man. Right? Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1. For the Lord Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And the strangers, the Israelite foreigners, shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. So ultimately, man, that eternal rest is coming, man. We just got to endure. Okay. Shalom.